Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Senate and the Council, it's my pleasure as Chancellor to welcome you all here on this fine summer morning. I'm sure we'll have a splendid ceremony, but I have the formal job to do now of formally declaring this degree congregation open. And now, for a moment, will you please sit down?
Distinguished guests, parents, families, supporters, and most important, graduates, good morning. We are here on a special day. We hope one of the most memorable of your lives, the culmination of years of education and the beginning of new challenges in education or perhaps new careers. You've worked and studied hard, and you have succeeded. You've done your job, and now, as President and Vice-Chancellor, it's my job to welcome you to this degree congregation where we formally recognise your achievement. You are graduating from one of the top-ranking universities in the country, in the top 1% of universities worldwide, and you should be as proud of that as your assembled parents and loved ones are of you. As proud as those of us who've been charged with overseeing your research, marking your essays, assessing your projects, and watching your thoughts evolve. As you go out into the world, you take your time at Leicester, everything you learned and experienced here, and our very best wishes as well. Of course, you also take letters after your name, a greater chance of the professional lives that you seek. There are now more jobs out there for graduates than there have ever been before, and you earn an estimated £200,000 more because of the hard work you've put in here. And for once, that premium is even larger for women than it is for men. And you take new skills. You can write dissertations, solve complex problems, work in teams, take on particularly testing exam questions, solve simultaneous equations, quote from philosophers, but it's even deeper than that. Our purpose is to equip you not just with an education, but with something broader, with the spirit of intellectual inquiry, with a deep curiosity, and with the resilience and resources to go out into the world and to go a long way. At last year's graduation ceremony, we were still celebrating our greatest local achievement, locating the body of England's last medieval king under a Leicester car park, a 1 in a million find, according to the expert who led the excavation, and who subsequently had to eat his hat, as you will see if you visit the visitor centre. And if you walk through the centre of campus today, you'll see that the main car park between the Student Union and the library is now being dug up. I have no idea why. But I did hear one of our archaeologists muttering something about Cardinal Wolsey. Of course, proving that it was the body of Richard III was only possible because of another famous Leicester discovery, DNA fingerprinting. And this demonstrates that we encompass the full range of academic disciplines here at Leicester. Our research spans all the way from DNA strands to the telescopes and space vehicles that explore the furthest stretches of the universe. As we speak, Leicester academics are working with international space agencies on what has been described as the hardest job that NASA has ever taken on, successfully sending a spacecraft called Juno into orbit around Jupiter 365 million miles away. Juno is solar-powered, and in the course of her journey, Juno will travel further from the Sun than any solar-powered spacecraft in history. For 20 months, she'll orbit Jupiter, allowing us to solve mysteries, how our solar system came into being, how Jupiter can be mapped, and what we, in the end, are made of. Of course, it's this spirit of discovery that we hope we've instilled in you as a graduate. Discovery is about imaginative new thinking, underpinning fundamental advances in our understanding of the world around us and applying that expertise to businesses and community needs and delivering solutions to global challenges. And there will be challenges ahead. I think it's worth reflecting briefly on the momentous decision that our nation took just last month to leave the European Union. There will, of course, be different views about this, and the implications are difficult to judge. But the UK universities were unanimous in their view that we should remain. We value the free movement of scientists because world-class science benefits from bringing the very best minds together. And it's perhaps not a surprise that 90% of academics in the UK and 70% of the students voted to remain. Perhaps most concerning, though, is the fact that academic and so-called other expert voices were not able to make the argument compelling enough. And we should reflect on what that means for our ability to engage productively with issues of great public concern. This challenge is one that the university takes up. Over the next years, we'll work to make the case for the cooperative scientific values that we hold dear. There is a lesson in this for us, as well as for you. Very little that's worthwhile is easy. Everyone can succeed if they're determined enough, and sometimes that can be against all the odds. So you won't be surprised to hear me mention perhaps the most unexpected sporting achievement that there's ever been, which happened in Leicester this year. One that has attracted worldwide attention and no doubt will be the next Disney feel-good movie. Yes, of course, it's the outstanding victory for the University of Leicester in the annual varsity match against DMU. Capped off with the women's rugby team's 13th win in as many years and a spectacular performance by the women's sports president, who scored 5 tries and converted 4 of them herself. Oh, and of course, it's been a reasonably good year for the city's football team as well. It was wonderful to see the whole city outside in the park behind you celebrating that achievement. Over 1/4 people, I think, on that night. One that at the beginning of the season, of course, had longer odds, according to the bookmakers, than either Elvis or the Loch Ness Monster being found. And in fact, there was more chance of Simon Cowell becoming Prime Minister or of Andy Murray naming his firstborn child Novak. So there will inevitably be ups and downs in the years ahead. If we've done our jobs right, if we've equipped you with the resources and the values of this university, if your time here has been everything that I hope it has been, you will find your way through. And we fully expect to be as proud of you in the future as we are today. Do stay in touch. Tell us what happens next. If we can help, let us know. Carry the pride of Leicester with you. And as our physicists might say, proudly go where no graduates of Leicester have gone before. I congratulate you on the degrees that you've obtained. I wish you an enjoyable day and a happy future. And on behalf of all of the University of Leicester, I wish you every success.
The Very Revd David Monteith is Dean of Leicester. He is a native of Enniskillen in Northern Ireland, and so a child of the Troubles. Enniskillen is inscribed in our memories because of the Remembrance Day bombing of 1987. That was the climax of a long series of attacks that had begun in 1972, So David's childhood was touched by the use of violence designed to serve political ends. In the midst of this unhappy world, David enjoyed the shelter and nourishment of his family, and it is a particular pleasure to see that his parents have been able to be with us today. David attended Portora Royal School, a state grammar school that was founded by royal charter in 1608 as an avowedly Protestant school. David received an excellent education at Portora, but failed to become avowedly Protestant, certainly not in the tribal sense in which the term is used in Northern Ireland. In 1986, David Monteith left Ulster for Durham University, where he read zoology, perhaps an unusual choice for one who already sensed a vocation for the priesthood. On graduating, he moved to St. John's College, which is a Church of England theological college in Nottingham, where he took a Bachelor of Theology and an MA in Mission and Ministry. David was ordained as a deacon in 1973 and as a priest the following year. His clerical career began modestly with an assistant curacy in King's Heath, Birmingham. He subsequently moved to St. Martin-in-the-Fields on Trafalgar Square, which, like David, does inclusiveness on a grand scale. At the one extreme, it is the parish church of Buckingham Palace and Downing Street, and at the other end of the social spectrum, it has for almost a century had a pioneering scheme to help the homeless. On the cultural level, it does classical music upstairs and jazz downstairs. Thereafter, David continued his distinctively urban ministry in a series of London posts, and in 2009 he came to another church dedicated to St. Martin of Tours, Leicester Cathedral. He came with a range of interests and passions that clearly reflect his time in urban parishes. Initially, his job here was that of Canon Chancellor, so he was responsible for education and pastoral work. He developed a passion for the city and its diversity, and in due course became chair of the St. Philip Centre for Interfaith Dialogue. In 2013, he became Dean of Leicester. Now, the title Dean of Leicester sounds grand, even presumptuous, as the cathedral is hardly the city. On David's watch, however, the cathedral has in significant part become the focal point of the city. The principal reason for that is the leadership that David showed in presiding over the reburial of Richard III. In some ways, the reburial was a distraction, in that the mission of the church does not extend to promoting dead Plantagenets, but David saw the reburial as an opportunity as well as a responsibility, and he led a deeply complex and demanding process through to a triumphant conclusion. The title Dean of Leicester had become a reality. What sort of man is David Monteith? At a public level, he has the decanal ability to manage large and complex projects. Those who work with him are often struck by his abundant and multifarious talent. Indeed, a visiting bishop recently remarked that David was the most talented priest that he had ever met. David's job is that of dean, and so he deals with the great and good, but he never forgets that his vocation is as a priest, and so he interacts comfortably with ordinary people. Perhaps his most visible characteristic as a priest is his compassion. This is not a virtue that has derived from David's capacious reading, but was rather molded in the crucible of his own experience. He had long worked among the dispossessed, and at the point when he arrived in Leicester, David had just lost his sister Sandra, who had died after 18 years of illness. Suffering can be a deeply destructive force, but in David, the experience of suffering has enabled him to assist others at difficult times. Beyond the dean, and even beyond the priest, there is a man with passions and enthusiasms that include paintings, contemporary poetry, theatre, and gardening. And in a church that still refuses to sanction gay marriage, David lives in civil partnership with his long-term companion, David Hamilton, who is with us today. David Monteith has transformed the cathedral for which he has responsibility. Not only does it have a new internal appearance and a new external setting, but it also houses a king and so has become a magnet for visitors for the city. The work is not yet finished, nor will it ever be. The next stage, which will be overseen by David, is called Leicester Cathedral Revealed. This is a £10 million restoration and development project to be completed by 2019 in order to better serve all of our communities. David's work lies at the heart of the renewal of our city, and in his priestly vocation, he serves everyone who lives in this city. It is an honor to have him among us. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and the Council, I present David Robert Malvern Monteith that you may confer upon him the degree of Doctor of Laws.
David, this is a great pleasure. It's so spectacularly well earned. I'm delighted. Somebody take that off you.
Mr. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Lord Lieutenant, honoured guests and fellow graduates of the University of Leicester, especially those of you who, unlike me, have worked rather harder to earn your degree. It's a joy for me to receive this honorary doctorate, and I'm deeply grateful to this university. I receive it on behalf of all those who worked with me to make Leicester Cathedral evermore the beating heart of our city and county. The cathedral laments when the world hurts, such as flying the rainbow flag for Orlando. But we also celebrate as the community rejoices. Thus, we lit the building blue and flew the Foxes football flag for a rather significant recent victory. And I counted an enormous privilege in particular to have been so intimately involved with colleagues from the university in the project which searched for and then identified King Richard III, leading on to his reburial in the cathedral with an international audience of millions. All that required interdisciplinary working and cross-organisational working, and we all enjoyed the humour which emerged and kept us sane in the public gaze of those heady days. And some of my favourite tweets at the time include, quote, "No sooner had they removed Richard III from the car park in Leicester than the NCP sent him a fine for £60 for parking more than 2 hours." Or even better for my generation, Leicester, now famous for Richard III's remains, but let us not forget it was the town of 7 previous kings. Shawaddy waddy. You'll need to ask your grandparents about that one. There is nothing new about a partnership between the church and university. In 1927, the Diocese of Leicester was reformed and the medieval parish church of St. Martin was made into the cathedral. That same year, University College was created, which has now become this university. The city character was shaped by the establishment of both of these institutions for the common good. Indeed, our founding figures understood that a healthy city needed academic rigour and deep faith if the promises which seemed to hold were actually to come to fruition. The motto of this university, deeply ingrained, I know, on your hearts, is Ut vitam habeant, that they may have life. This university is a secular institution, yet its motto is a quote from the Bible, from John's Gospel. Jesus came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I hope that as you graduate and that as many of you move on from Leicester, that your memory will be one of life in all its fullness. And I wonder, what might this kind of life in fullness look like for you in the longer term? We're graduating at an extraordinary time in the life of our country. In Shakespeare's Richard III, we find Richard asking Lord Hastings, "What news abroad?" And Richard replies, "No news so bad abroad as this at home." What comes round seems to come round again. We've witnessed huge upheaval, and there is uncertainty, and sadly, there has been conflict. But I hope that you have glimpsed from your time in Leicester a vision of our community where diversity is cherished and where racism and prejudice are not the voices of this community. Life in all its fullness, from my experience, comes from standing and walking together, from reaching out across our differences rather than closing up. My old Portora school motto was Omnes Honorati, honor all people, and it stands the test of all time. Secondly and finally, don't forget in your quest for happiness, success or wealth, that life is and can be more than all of that. This city where you have studied is dotted with churches, gurdwaras, temples, mosques and synagogues, and at its heart a cathedral. The stock exchange is never going to capture our hearts, even if it lines our pockets. These other places speak of faith and of other values. And it may not be fashionable at the moment, but a life without an awareness of the spiritual seems to me to be diminished. And we need resources to shape our deepest identity, not least when all of the anchors of life are suddenly taken away by illness, redundancy, war, or political meltdown. A cathedral is a kind of sermon about love in stone, which keeps inviting us into the question, is there an eternal love which shapes us to become more fully human? The playwright Oscar Wilde, who also went to my school, said, "When you really want love, you will find it waiting for you." When you really want love, you will find it waiting for you. So I hope that we continue to find life in all its fullness. As Honorary Doctor of Laws, my life is certainly fuller, and for that I am profoundly grateful. And as our former Prime Minister reminded us yesterday, you are the future. And I hope that part of that future will be to help others enter into this vision of life in all its fullness. Thank you very much.
Will all graduands please stand?
Now, just a formal phrase, which is to say that on behalf of the Senate, I now admit graduates, candidates, both present and absent, for the several degrees for which they are presented. And we'll call you up on the stage in groups during the rest of the ceremony, but for the moment, will you please sit down?
Mr. Chancellor, as Head of the College of Social Sciences, Arts and Humanities, I present the following candidates for their degrees. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Maria Barantes Reynolds. Victoria Bayard.
Well done, Victoria. Doctorate. Pretty good, that.
Romina Delia.
Well done, Romina. Congratulations.
Haytham Eid. Marta Fanello.
Congratulations.
Sergio Gonzalez Sanchez.
Well done, Romina.
Rebecca Gordon.
Well done, Rebecca. Good stuff.
Margaret Hilditch.
Well done, Margaret. The doctorate sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Kirsten James.
Congratulations to you. Well done.
Krista Kashmarek.
Congratulations to you. Well done.
Ian Marshman.
Well done, Ian. Good stuff. Yeah.
Nicolo Mugnai.
Congratulations to you.
Kathleen Perry Adams.
Well done, Kathleen. Congratulations to you.
Anna Wallace.
Well done, Anna. Good stuff. Yeah.
Alexandra Woodall.
Well done, Alexander. Good stuff.
For the degree of Master of Philosophy, Gift Satonwe Frank.
Nice welcome, that.
For the degree of Master of Laws in Employment Law, Maria Bonici.
Well done, Maria. Congratulations to you.
Paul Burdock.
Well done, Paul. Congratulations to you.
Kate Challenger.
Well done, Kate. Good stuff. Yeah.
Anne-Marie Clitheroe.
Well done, Anne-Marie. Good stuff.
Charlotte Exel.
Well done, Charlotte. Good stuff. Yeah.
Laura Foster.
Well done, Laura. Good stuff. Yeah.
Andrea Georgiou.
Congratulations to you. Well done.
Angela Harding.
Well done, Angela. Good stuff. Yeah.
Saqib Hussain.
Congratulations.
Mariam Abubakar Idrisu.
Well done, Mariam. Congratulations to you.
Adam Pitt.
Well done, Adam.
James Taylor.
Nice always. Well done, well done.
Andrew Vickers.
Yeah. Well done, Andrew. Good stuff. Yeah.
Leona Walsh.
Well done, Fiona. Good stuff.
Marshallee White.
Congratulations.
Andrew Wilson.
Well done, Andrew. Good stuff.
For the degree of Master of Laws in International Commercial Law, William Mugumbate. Saman Ratnayake.
Congratulations.
Kadam Verma. For the degree of Master of Arts in Archaeology and Heritage, Erin Schaefer.
Well done, Erin. Congratulations to you.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Heritage and Interpretation, Charlotte Brooks.
Well done, Charlotte. Well done.
Harriet Still.
Congratulations to you. Well done. Well done.
Sarita Sundar.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Museum Studies, Wendy Aldis.
Well done, Wendy. Good stuff. Yeah.
Emily Louise Allen.
Well done, Wendy. Very well.
Samantha Armstrong.
Well done, Samantha. Good. Yeah.
Jade Baker.
Well done, Jane. Congratulations.
Jordan Blake.
Well done, Jordan.
Nathalie Cameron.
Well done, Natalie. Congratulations.
Gemma Crossley.
Well done, Gemma. Good stuff.
Emmanuel Fakenda.
Congratulations. Well done.
Helen Sean Griffiths.
Well done, Helen. Good stuff.
Stephen Cruz.
Well done.
Vera Ludwig.
Congratulations to you.
Claire Sorden.
Well done, Claire. Good stuff. Yes.
Adele Senior.
Well done, Adele. Good stuff. Well done.
Ian Tan.
Good stuff, Ian. Well done.
Eleanor Walter.
Well done, Ellen. Well done indeed.
Laura Worthington.
Well done, Laura. Good stuff. Yes.
For the degree of Master of Arts in the Classical Mediterranean, Carrie Fleming.
Well done, Carrie. Congratulations.
Matthew Selheimer.
Well done, Matthew. Good stuff. Yes.
For the degree of Master of Arts in the Country House, Art, History and Literature, Sarah Baker.
Sure. Well done, Sarah. What an interesting subject. Yes, good stuff.
For the postgraduate certificate in Archaeology and Heritage, Amira Khalili.
Well done, Amira. Well done indeed.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law, Farah Abdul Majid.
Congratulations.
Ayomide Abraham.
Well done. Got some friends out there.
Aisha Adam.
Well done, Aisha. Congratulations to you. Yes, yes.
Nida Admani.
Congratulations to you. Well done indeed.
Elizabeth Agbana.
Well done, Elizabeth. Good stuff.
Rohin Agrawal. Naveed Akram.
Congratulations. Well done.
Michaela Alexandru.
Well done, Michaela. Good stuff. Well done.
Adeza Alison Ikwadu.
You've got some friends there. Well done.
Thomas Anor Agye. Elena Antoniadi.
Well done indeed. Well done.
Olufemi Aribisala.
Congratulations to you.
Oluwaseyan Ariibi.
Very well done. What a nice welcome.
Miran Barrow.
Congratulations to you. Well done.
Sarah Bamidele.
Well done, Sarah. Good stuff.
Tariq Benhadra.
Congratulations.
Ben Bohe.
Good stuff, Ben. Well done,
Sophia Bradford.
Well done, Sophia. Good stuff.
Amy Breen.
Well done, Amy. Good stuff.
Charlotte Brunt.
Well done, Charlotte. Congratulations.
Daniel Bryan.
Well done, Daniel. Good stuff.
Rourke Bulbring.
Congratulations.
Mary Cabarubias.
Well done, Mary. Good stuff.
Angela Carr.
Congratulations, Angela. Well done.
Chin Chak. Leelabati Chakrabarti.
Well done.
Jonathan Chan.
Well done, Jonathan.
Man Yuen Chan. Georgina Chapman.
Well done, Georgina. Good stuff.
Asim Chowdhury.
Good stuff. Well done. Good stuff.
Sin Chu.
Congratulations.
Wei Chong. Pramisha Chudasama.
Congratulations to you. Very well done.
Kash Chundu.
Well done. Congratulations.
James Cox.
Well done, James.
Maham Dar.
Congratulations.
Sophie Darby.
Well done, Sophie. Good stuff.
Andrea Dimitriou.
Congratulations.
Christine Dimitrov.
Well done, Christine. Good stuff.
Mikhaila Drazek.
Congratulations. Well done indeed. Well done.
Diane Duke.
Well done, Diane. Good stuff.
Suman Dulku.
Congratulations.
Jessica Edkins.
Well done, Jessica.
Jeremy Elliott.
Well done, Jeremy. Good stuff.
Miad El Zubar.
Congratulations. Well done.
Sophia Evangelou.
Well done, Sophia. Good stuff.
Samuel Foley.
Well done, Samuel. Good stuff. Well done.
Pai Fu.
Congratulations. Very well done.
Sophie Forsyth.
Well done, Sophie. Good stuff. Well done.
Leong Ming Yi Gabrielle.
Congratulations. Well done.
Ryan Games.
Good stuff and congratulations.
Shanyuga Ganesan.
Congratulations. Well done.
Adut Garang.
Congratulations.
Lara Garrett.
Well done, Lara. Good stuff. Well done.
Adadoyan George.
Well done.
Saskia Garash.
Well done.
Ishwinda Gotra.
Congratulations.
Aisha Hamu.
Well done. Congratulations.
Lucy Hill.
Well done, Lucy. Good stuff. Congratulations.
Chak Hei Huang.
Congratulations. Well done.
Chin Yuan Huang.
Congratulations. Good job.
Rajan Hamdal.
Well done indeed. Congratulations.
Thomas Hutton.
Well done, Thomas. Good stuff.
Rayan Ibrahim.
Congratulations to you as well.
Socrates Yanu.
Well done indeed.
Emily Earson.
Well done, Emily. Congratulations.
Princess Iwezu Ben.
What a welcome. Congratulations.
Sajad Jaffa.
Congratulations. Well done. Sorry.
Jasvinder Jagit Singh.
Congratulations. Well done.
Hordu Jallo.
Congratulations. Well done.
Amy Charles Justo.
Congratulations. Well done.
Alina Jetha.
Congratulations. Well done.
William Jones.
Well done, William.
Sandeep Kang.
Congratulations. Well done.
Naveen Kangatharan.
Congratulations.
Joel Karasik.
Well done, Joel. Good stuff.
Sonia Kaur Kingra.
Well done, Sonia. Good stuff.
Michelle Kaur.
Well done, Michelle. Good stuff. Well done.
Tajinder Kaur.
Well done, Virginia. Good stuff.
Saw Samuel Say Kiat.
Congratulations.
Khalid Kawaji, sorry. Nicole Koo.
Well done, Nicole.
Yun Kim. Christiana Constantinidou.
Well done, Christiana. Well done, indeed.
Lakvir Kaur.
Congratulations.
Vavara Kiprianu.
Well done, indeed.
Rasana Lam.
Congratulations.
Roberts Lam.
Well done, Robert. Good stuff. Congratulations.
Wilson Lau.
Congratulations.
Purdy Law.
Well done.
Rebecca Lee.
Well done, Rebecca. Good stuff. Well done.
Shu Lee.
Congratulations, Julie. Well done.
Haveen Lahal.
Well done indeed.
Yong Liu.
Well done indeed. Congratulations.
Jasmine Leung.
Congratulations.
Jeffrey Lee.
Well done, Jeffrey.
Hugh Lim.
Congratulations, Steve. Well done.
Ji Lu.
Congratulations, Steve. Well done.
Sin Chung Kelvis Ma.
Well done. Well done indeed.
Robert McLean.
Well done, Robert.
Constantina Macri.
Well done, Constantine. Good stuff. Well done.
Natasha Marican.
Well done, Natasha. Good stuff.
Yo Su Mei.
Congratulations. Well done.
Rachel McCarthy.
Well done, Rachel. Good stuff.
Januega Maludi.
What a nice role. Well done.
Zaheen Moral.
Congratulations.
Benjamin Morton.
Well done, Reggie. Good stuff.
Amir Mullah.
Congratulations.
Wei Nyo.
Well done indeed.
Camelia Nasari.
Congratulations.
Chun San Ing.
Congratulations.
Xiao Ing.
Well done.
Michael Nguyen. Jamie Akana Benavides.
Congratulations.
Catherine Ogunshola.
Well done, Catherine.
Stephanie Okoro Nwala.
Congratulations. Well done indeed.
Udwak Okpo.
Congratulations.
Adetola Olafimian.
Well done. Congratulations.
Daniel Oligbo.
Congratulations. Well done.
Ekaterini Olimbio. Adaobi Oni Egboma. Esther Osso.
Well done, Esther. Good stuff.
Olamide Osensina.
Congratulations.
Rere Lolulwa Oye.
Congratulations. Well done.
Karishma Pandya.
Lovely, that.
Rose Panamudipo. Maria Papachara-Lampos.
Well done, Maria. Good stuff.
Priya Palmer. Edward Parsons.
Well done, Maria.
Kajal Patel. Rupesh Patel. Pooja Patni. Charlotte Pinkham.
Well done, Charlotte. Good stuff.
Alexandra Rajenovich.
Well done, Alexander. Good stuff.
Karishma Rai.
Congratulations. Well done.
Kavita Raikandalia.
Congratulations.
Bella Ramsey.
Well done. Congratulations.
Emily Ranson.
Well done, Emily. Good stuff.
Bilikit Salawadin.
That was lively, aren't they? Yeah.
Pavan Samra.
Congratulations.
Jagdish Sangha.
Congratulations.
Alana Sarju.
Congratulations. Well done.
Andrea C. Charan.
Well done indeed. Congratulations.
Amresh Selvaskandan.
Good stuff. Well done.
Nana Shagari Mukhtar.
Well done indeed. What a nice welcome. I can't, I'm afraid. There's so many great persons.
Ali Shah.
Congratulations to you.
Chan Wen Ting Sharon.
Congratulations to
Kaiser Sheikh.
you. Congratulations.
Marcus Sim.
Well done to you.
Jaskiran Soki.
Congratulations. Well done.
Ariane Stanyan.
Well done. Good stuff.
William Stevenson.
Well done, William. Good stuff.
Mahesh Sudera.
Well done to you. Congratulations.
Christopher Sweetman.
Well done, Christopher.
Aydin Tahazadeh.
Congratulations.
Chi Tan.
Well done.
Sumbal Tanvir.
Congratulations. Well done.
Adeyemi Thomas.
That's a nice welcome.
Sophie Threlfall.
Well done, Sophie. Good stuff.
Cho Thai.
Congratulations.
Gemma Trencher.
Well done, Heather.
Ofure Uguabe.
Good stuff. Well done.
Nikita Vaja.
Congratulations. Well done.
Vaibhav Verma.
Congratulations. Well done.
Anit Verdi. Grace Ward.
Well done, Grace. Good stuff.
Ruth Willits.
Well done, Ruth. Good stuff.
Emma Williams.
Well done, Emma. Good stuff.
Oi Wong.
Congratulations. Well done, Emma.
Si Wong.
Congratulations.
Wing Yan Yip.
Congratulations.
Richard York.
Congratulations. Well done.
Farah Zainuddin.
Congratulations to you. Well done indeed.
Ashley Zaidner.
Congratulations to you. Well done. Yeah.
Marcus Zaidan.
Well done, Martin. Good stuff. Well done. Well done.
Ye Dong Zhu.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Zishan.
Well done, Mohammed. Good stuff.
Anyone who watches Lars Tharp on the Antiques Roadshow cannot fail to be impressed by the seemingly miraculous way in which he identifies a wide variety of previously unseen objects, giving minute details of their designers, manufacturing processes, and social and economic backgrounds, and then provides the eagerly anticipated valuation, bringing delight or occasionally disappointment to the owners. If anyone has a treasured heirloom here today, we're sorry, but the roadshow is closed. Such expertise, though not unique, is rare, and it comes as a result of a combination of a fine intellect, deep study, and a well-developed aesthetic sense. When those are joined, as in our honorand, with great personal warmth and geniality, it is a rare combination indeed. Though Lars was born in Denmark, a country for which he has great affection, it is our good fortune that his family moved to Leicester when he was about 6. His secondary school was Wigston Grammar School for Boys next to the university, where he had some contact with the university, playing the cello in our Baroque orchestra, for instance. But Lars, perhaps understandably, opted to go to Cambridge, where he read archaeology and anthropology, and continued his wider engagement in the arts, playing his cello at university level, acting in and producing plays, and running the Archaeological Field Club. At the point of his graduation in 1976, then, we see the emergence of a rounded individual with wide tastes, but there is limited evidence of the future ceramics expert, historian, and broadcaster. The critical development came when Lars, recognizing, as he puts it, that there was a dearth of jobs for Paleolithical archaeologists, and conscious of an ability to recognize and remember objects, contrived a meeting with the director of the London auctioneers, Sotheby's. This resulted in an apprenticeship in Sotheby's Chinese department. Lars flourished there, rising by 1983 to be a director himself, and 3 years later he was invited to join the BBC's Antiques Roadshow as one of its resident experts. He has appeared in all subsequent series, the 2016 series being his 30th anniversary. This has led to numerous other broadcast appearances, including his own 12-part series, Inside Antiques, and something which has particularly pleased him, membership of the winning team of alumni from his Cambridge College on University Challenge. His area of special expertise is ceramics, and particularly the Song dynasty of 10th to 13th century China, a period of great military, scientific,
economic and artistic innovation, which produced, among other things, the first use of gunpowder, the first banknotes, and what has been described as the foremost expression of ceramic art. Lars has lectured around the world on the subject, and in 2 BBC films, Treasures of Chinese Porcelain and China in 6 Easy Pieces, has described the later development and backbreaking effort of countless labourers employed in the manufacture and transport of porcelain to Europe. He has also devised and curated 3 ceramics exhibitions and is president of the International Ceramics Fair. A genuinely inquiring mind will notice and explore unexpected intellectual byways. And so it was when Lars observed the way in which the 18th century British artist and social commentator William Hogarth depicted examples of major ceramic traditions in his paintings and prints. This opened up a field of research leading to a number of exhibitions and books. Hogarth's China, an innovative synthesis of ceramic, social, and art history. From this, it was a relatively small step to further work on Hogarth, a television programme about Hogarth's love of dogs, vice-chairmanship of the Hogarth Trust, and directorship of London's Foundling Museum, Hogarth having been a governor of the Foundling Hospital at its inception. This barely scratches the surface of Lars's activities and public involvement. He lectures extensively around the world. He has served on the jury of the Art Fund's Museums and Galleries Annual Prize, is a Fellow of the Society of Antiquaries of London, and a Freeman of the City of London. Locally, he is actively involved in several societies and charities, including the Leicester Archaeological and Historical Society and the Leicestershire International Music Festival. He championed the National Trust's campaign to purchase and open the beautiful Arts and Crafts House Stonywell just outside Leicester. His lifelong love of art is matched by his appreciation of music, and if the BBC ever has the good sense to invite him to that well-known desert island, his luxury, if he cannot take a Gainsborough, will be his beloved cello. The other local university was quicker off the mark in awarding him an honorary degree. But at this university, he delivered the Frank May Anniversary Lecture in 2007, and he looks forward to attending these congregations again next year to see his elder daughter Helena graduate as a doctor, satisfying vicariously one of Lars's childhood ambitions. It is, in the best sense, fortunate that he took a different path, or we might have been deprived of his wide-ranging, erudite, witty and imaginative contributions to our understanding and appreciation of so many aspects of culture, art and social history. We honour him for these, for his exceptional communication skills, and for his rare ability, as one friend has expressed it, to straddle the academic, commercial and broadcasting worlds without compromise to any one of them. Mr. Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and the Council, I present Lars Tharp that you may confer on him the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
What a pleasure to do this to you, it really is. You give us so much fun. You give us so much fun.
I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
Thank you so much.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the Senate, distinguished guests, parents, carers, guardians, and fellow graduates. Earlier this year, while in Australia, in Melbourne, I had to give evidence over a live satellite link to the Court of Chancery in London. The very first question I was asked by counsel for the defendants in my 3-hour cross-examination was, Mr. Tharp, you are not an academic, are you? Well, see me now, Mr. Grigsby. It is truly an honour to be honoured by the university of my home city, the university, as you've heard, in whose shadow, attending Wiggiston Grammar School, I regularly evaded cross-country runs. The university where my wife, Gillian, was a history student, the university where one of our daughters, as you've heard, Helena, is today studying medicine, and where her sister, Georgina, is currently employed in the Student Recruitment Office, something which will be close to all of your hearts 3 years ago. So I have many associations with Leicester. Actually, my home city is ultimately Copenhagen, Denmark, which accounts for my rather Anglo-Danish name, a name with many homophonic variables. My favourite one being the one which I found on a letter that was sent to me when I was working at Sotheby's many, many years ago, posted in Pakistan. It was addressed to Mr. Lars Tharp, comma, Sotheby's, brackets, world-famous auction house, comma, England. How's that for reaching the intended recipient? In fact, in my very first visit to China in 1999, I noticed that every time I was introduced to a Chinese lady or gentleman as Mr. Lars Tharp, some of you will appreciate this already, I know, there was a snigger. And I said to my interpreter, Fume, there's something funny about my name when you render it into Chinese. And she said, oh, no. I said, there is something I've noticed. You will tell me. And she said, oh, well, your name in Chinese, it sounds a bit like Mr. Urinal. I said, okay, Fume, next time I come, I will have a very honourable Chinese name, which I now have. I will tell you what it is. It is, wait for it, it is Su Bo-le. As you will know, is a Chinese mythical character who could spot a good horse at 1,000 leagues. Sadly, I didn't have a rollover bet on the discovery of the skeleton of a former king, coupled with the likelihood of the local team winning the premiership. If I had, I would be a very wealthy man. Not all universities believe in awarding honorary degrees, but I can assure you, if you are ever offered and intend to work in China, take it. The more post-nominals you have and can put on your visiting card, the more likely you are to overcome the stigma of being called Mr. Urinal. In fact, when I gave my card to my Chinese friends in that first visit, they didn't actually spot my name at all. They saw my postnomials, that's what they went for. And so I was constantly being addressed as Mr. Ma Frizzer, which I've worked out now, if having accumulated this great honour, I will now be addressed in China, if they just look to the final part of the formula, it'll be Mr. Ma Dot Lit Fizzer. So we'll have to make sure they know the difference between my name and the honours. Speaking of honours, I'm reminded of a time when I appeared on a television show. It was an antique show with, some of you won't know this lady, but others will, a lady called Honor Blackman, a very wonderful lady, and slightly frightening. An incredible lady, and if you've watched any of the early James Bond films, you would have seen her. After some hesitation, after we'd done the programme, I ventured to tell Miss Blackman a little ditty that I'd found in the local pub where I lived, and it went something like this, and it said, "She offered her honour. He honoured her offer. And all night long it was honour and offer." Anyway, she gave me a very interesting look after that. Anyway, to be nominated for an honour in recognition of work one has done for pleasure is what the Danes would call dobbel konfekt, or a twice rewarded act. And to be given an honour for doing something that one enjoys doing is one has to feel an element of guilt as well as of pride. To use the Latin phrase, the felicitous phrase, labor ipse voluptas. And I want you to take that with you, labor ipse voluptas, because I think it's quite a good motto to try to hang on to for the rest of your working lives. It's the work which is a pleasure in itself. And I wish that you may find that form of life yourself. It is important that you decide what you like. And what you're good at is also quite relevant. But what you like is very important. You wouldn't like it if you weren't any good at it, is my theory. So follow your likes. And in my own case, that's what I did. As you heard, I came out of university with a degree in Paleolithic archaeology. It's amazing that I wasn't snapped up. I think there were 2 interviews I did in 1 year for a post for which I was relatively reasonably qualified, where all my other co-interviewees were in fact PhDs. So follow what you like and find out what it is that you're good at. You will know that by now. You've had 3 years, and examining those things is very important. We've already had mention of Richard III, but I couldn't help putting in this one because it was told to me by the very distinguished former Bishop of Leicester, who does a lot of lecturing on cruises, and this is one he threw at his audiences there. Timothy Stevens. Now we have found the body of Richard III, the search is on for his horse. And we will be digging up the car park at Tesco's, which I thought was a very neat way of conflating 2 very popular news stories at the time. And I should just say, in terms of honours, one has to take honours with a certain modesty. One mustn't be over-seduced by them. I discovered this when I was invited by my college at Cambridge to participate in University Challenge. I'm sure some of you watch, or indeed have participated yourselves in University Challenge. So the oldies team, which is the one I was expected to join, went on at Christmas 2 years ago, and contrary to all of our expectations, we won. We are the champions of 2014 Christmas show. So my college was so chuffed that we all got invitations to go to a very prestigious annual dinner at college where we were given points of honour around the master. And during the meal, everybody was in white tie. It was a fantastic occasion. And then towards the end, the master got up and he said, well, ladies and gentlemen, as you will know, I'm not much given to public speaking, but I know that you would like to know some of the achievements we've had over the last 6 months or so. Yes, Sir Maximilian Hildesheimer has been awarded a Nobel Prize for his work on the migratory patterns of the crested grebe. Oh, silent approbation, a slight ruffle of enjoyment. Yes, and Ronald Churt has been knighted for his work on Mesolithic middens. Oh, approval all round. Our college first 8 rowing team are head of the river. And in the last few months, we have the alumnus team of the college has won University Challenge. Hooray! The approbation was amazing, and I felt sorry for all of those people who really had worked hard for their honours to be slightly overtaken in applause by the University Challenge team. We can all say that none of us would be here without our parents, and the families which have nurtured us and lived with our trials, successes, and failures. My own parents, Harry and Anne-Marie, who are here today, have supported and stayed with me throughout all of the vicissitudes and changes of direction in my own life. And my wife, Gillian, continues to deal with moments of crazy absent-mindedness and strange ideas and plans. And I have a huge debt to thank them for in my life. But going back to my early childhood in Copenhagen, it was my Danish grandfather who I guess put me on the road to what I do today, which is looking at stuff. In particular, ceramics and pottery, crockery, if you like. My own grandfather graduated from Copenhagen University just around 1920, and he came out of that university with a degree in classics, as did approximately 70 or other graduates in classics. So it was not an easy time for him, but he was very lucky he got an invitation to join as a junior member the National Museum of Copenhagen, one of Europe's very greatest museums. And there he changed his direction altogether. He became an archaeologist, albeit his heart was still in the works of Cicero. He became a quite distinguished archaeologist. He charted the Danish Bronze Age, and he became keeper of prehistoric antiquities at the National Museum. It was he who dragged me around at a very early age, the museums of Denmark and the corridors, and showed me the grisly sights of the bog people. He told me the story he'd been actually at the exhumation of one of the bog people, the Grauballeman, whose mortal remains, already 3,000 years old when they were put on the stretcher to be taken to the museum for conservation, were rolling around in the back of this little Danish van. My grandfather sitting there with the Grauballeman rolling around. And he told me the story. Can you imagine? As a 5-year-old sitting on your grandfather's knee, and he looks at you and he says, and as we went over one of those bumps, one of his eyes opened and looked at me. A blue eye that hadn't been opened for 3,000 years. And if you're interested in visiting the Grauballeman, he's in Aarhus, or just south of Aarhus today. You can check out that story. And I do believe that my grandfather was telling me the whole truth when he told me that. So I came out with a degree in archaeology, and I knew that I was good at recognition and visual memory. And that was my lifeline. And I thought backwards, really, and I thought, what do I want to do? I want to do something that looks at stuff. And that's what I've ended up doing. I've been looking at Chinese works of art now for a good 35 years, and I continue to enjoy it. I continue to have an intake of breath when I see a particularly beautiful object. But it's not just the object, it's where the object takes us. And those of you who've got your archaeology or heritage degrees will know this. My great patron saint of stuff is Neil MacGregor, the outgoing director of the British Museum, who manages to do precisely this. He takes a boring object and he will take you to an exciting part of history which is just sitting there in a tile or in a piece of silver or in a little piece of fabric. Go to the Foundling Museum where I was director, and you will see the fabrics of the women who hoped to find life for their babies by giving their babies to the Foundling Hospital from the 1740s onwards. And in order to retrieve their babies, they were asked to give a little token, a piece of fabric, which was pinned into the certificate when the child was brought, and through which that mother might, should she be able, might be able to reclaim her child in years to come. Incredibly poignant things, a piece of fabric that you wouldn't look twice at, but given the context, suddenly, you are brought into another world, a world which, dare I say, the written word cannot sometimes conjure with quite such vivid power. I've become what is called an expert. None of us on the roadshow likes actually being called an expert because it implies being infallible. And fortunately for us, all the art world is far more ambivalent, ambiguous. People make mistakes all the time and go mopping up after other experts. And even after being seen for 30 years on the show, reading the runes on the Antiques Roadshow, not all of our clients believe what we tell them. And I'll just illustrate this. This is fame for you. This is being an expert for you. My colleague Eric Knowles was on his home territory in Lancashire. He told his client everything and more that can be said about her Tiffany glass. Everything. And as the facts mounted, the owner seemed less and less impressed. And after Eric's 5-figure valuation, she wrapped up the vase, put it back in its box, left the table, and as she passed the next person in the Antiques Roadshow queue to come to Eric, she said, in a loud stage whisper, "That young man knows bugger all." No, our clients, whether on the roadshow or in the museums, are right to question the opinions of experts. You have been trained to question all opinions, and may you long continue to do so. Now that I've been honoured in this lovely way, whenever my opinion is put into doubt, I shall, Mr. Chancellor, reply by speaking those chilling words, doubtless uttered by Bodkin Adams: "Trust me, I'm a doctor."
Three members of the University of Leicester chorus, Bethany Hill, Holly Mulvey and Andrew Radford, will now sing Suave il Viento in Italian in tribute to Signor Claudio Ranieri and the Leicester City Football Club. Not since Roman times has Italy had such an influence on our city.
Suave sil vento,
Mr. President and Vice-Chancellor, for the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law, Senior Status, Cosmas Anthony Adesina. Modok Piazzori Atsinua. Heather Barber.
Well done, Heather.
Corey Bennett. Lisa Brown. Kenneth Chatapal. Connor Collins. Stefan Dill. Isagul Donat. Hannah Felix. Corey Fennick. Sean Green. Stephen King. Kelly Kwakye. Graham Luck. Leah McLean. Alexander Miranda. Adiaze Nuoba.
Well done, congratulations.
Christoph Richard.
Well done, Christoph. Congratulations.
Charles Schanbaum.
Congratulations. Well done.
Irini Shinoda.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law and Criminology, Amy Brady.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Amandeep Kular. Orilua Salu.
Congratulations. Well done.
Kesiena Ohioke. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law with a year abroad, Dominique Ajala.
Well done, Dominique. Congratulations.
Daniel Anti.
There's a big cheer. Well done, Dominique.
Cecilia Bortolotto.
Well done, Celia. Congratulations.
Nima Daher.
Congratulations. Well done.
Kimberly Dua.
Well done, Kimberly. Well done.
Louis Goff.
Congratulations. Well done.
Milena Kasika.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Natalie Keveth.
Well done, Natalie. Congratulations.
Zara Laher.
Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
Rachel Letizier.
Well done, Rachel.
Dinah Mullings. Seth Rosinko.
Brendan, well done.
Dikshika Sribalakrishnan.
Congratulations. Well done.
Joseph Stubbs.
Well done, Joseph. Good cheer there.
Miyuki Uodo.
Congratulations. Well done.
Rachel Wilkinson.
Congratulations, Rachel. Well done.
Eleanor Williams.
Well done, Eleanor. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law with French Law and Language, Samuel Bailey. Olivia Mansfield.
Well done, Olivia. Congratulations.
James Matthews.
Well done, James. Well done.
Serena Mehmi.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law with Politics, Naim Bappa.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yi Ching Chung.
Congratulations. Well done.
Danielle Frimpong.
Just correct me. Well done.
Seth Heward Mills. Sophie Iliff.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Tara Mijani Ajanan.
Congratulations. Well done.
Jacob Waterton Bailey.
Well done, Jacob. Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law Matrice, Doreen Fresnio.
Congratulations. Well done.
Olivier Jacqueline.
Congratulations. Well done.
Celine Murad. William Nash.
Well done, William. Congratulations.
Alyssa Ozeki.
Congratulations. Well done.
Alice van der Waal.
Congratulations. Well done.
Nora van Meerwijk.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology, Sean Alpress. Jessica Baird.
Well done, Jessica. Congratulations.
Alice Banham.
Well done, Alice. Congratulations. Well done.
Richard Bradbury.
Well done, Richard. Congratulations. Well done.
Anna Sophie Boulder.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Tancredi Giulio Caradonna.
Congratulations. Well done.
Emily Dilworth.
Congratulations. Well done.
Nathan Gubbins.
Well done, Nathan. Congratulations.
Samuel Hale.
Well done, Samuel. Congratulations.
Esther Hamilton.
Well done, Esther. Congratulations.
Reese Kelly.
Well done, Reece. Congratulations.
Amanda Phillips.
Well done, Amanda. Well done.
Joanne Rowley.
Congratulations. Well done.
Harry Shankar.
Well done, Harry. Congratulations.
Catherine Whitehouse.
Well done, Catherine. Congratulations.
Hannah Walden.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology with a year abroad, Jonathan Farrell.
Well done, Jonathan. Congratulations. Well done.
Amy Hathaway.
Well done, Amy. Congratulations.
Aidan Lehane.
Congratulations. Well done.
Lorenzo Montefort.
Well done, Lorenzo. Well
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Classical Archaeology, Graham Johnson.
done, Graham. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and History, Charlotte Bassett.
Well done, Charlotte. Well done.
Lucy Binns.
Well done, Lucy. Congratulations.
Jonathan Campbell.
Well done, Jonathan. Congratulations.
Cheryl Collins.
Congratulations. Well done.
Charlotte Craig.
Well done, Charlotte.
Robert Flintoft.
Well done, Robert. Congratulations. Well done.
Sean Gillespie.
Well done, Sean. Congratulations. Well done.
Jack Hancock.
Well done, Jack. Congratulations. Well done.
Eleanor Harris.
Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
Claire Jackson.
Well done, Claire. Congratulations.
Annalie James.
Congratulations. Well done.
Alexander Canalos.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thomas Liddington.
Well done, Thomas. Congratulations.
Joseph Marshall.
Well done, Joseph. Well done.
Dan Nyamekye. Tom Smith.
Well done, Tom. Congratulations.
Laura Stocks.
Well done, Laura. Congratulations.
Taryin Weaver.
Congratulations, well done.
Josh Webb.
Well done, Josh. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and History with a year abroad, Lois Bird.
Well done, Lois. Good to see you.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, Nora Batterman. Claire Brown.
Well done, Claire. Congratulations.
David Brown.
Well done, David. Congratulations. Well done.
Jennifer Cahill.
Congratulations.
Catriona Goss.
Congratulations. Well done.
Nick Kemsley.
Congratulations. Well done.
Sohail Khan.
Congratulations. Well done.
John Phillips.
Congratulations. Well done.
Sophia Picken.
Well done, Sophia. Congratulations.
Declan Robertson.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Ian Salisbury.
Congratulations. Well done.
Adam Santa.
Well done, Adam. Congratulations. Well done.
Alan Sims.
Well done, Alan. Congratulations.
Holly Twigger.
Congratulations. Well done.
Jordan Wright.
Well done, Jordan. Congratulations.
Julie Rowe. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Archaeology, Katie Dalman.
Well done, Katie. Congratulations.
Gabrielle Hames.
Well done, Gabrielle. Congratulations. Well done.
Sylvia Palmer.
Well done, Sylvia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Film and Media Studies, Benjamin Alborough.
Well done, Benjamin. Congratulations.
Catherine Harvis.
Well done, Catherine. Congratulations.
Hannah Johnson.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yue Chi Shen.
Congratulations. Well done.
Ella Whitman.
Congratulations.
Timothy Yap.
Well done, Timothy. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Film Studies and English, Lucy Cook.
Congratulations, Lucy. Well done.
Kate Jackson.
Well done, Kate. Congratulations.
Jennifer Lewenden.
Well done, Jennifer. Congratulations.
Samuel Shaw.
Well done, Samuel.
Abigail Thuringer.
Well done, Abigail. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Film Studies and Visual Arts, Temitayo Ajala.
Congratulations. Well done.
Alison Lucas.
Well done, Alison. Congratulations.
Jia Ching Wang.
Congratulations. Well done.
Xin Yi Wang.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and English, Rebecca Licorice.
Well done, Rebecca. Congratulations.
Alexandra Taylor.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and Italian, David Bates.
Well done, David. Congratulations.
Amy Blake.
Well done, Amy. Congratulations. Well done.
Danielle Levin.
Well done, Amy.
Lauren Patton.
Congratulations. Well done.
Benjamin Simpson.
Well done, Benjamin.
Genevieve Smith.
Well done, Genevieve. Well done.
Lucy Sutcliffe.
Well done, Lucy. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and Spanish, Kelly Bamber.
Well Congratulations. Well done.
Emily Bayliss.
Congratulations. Well done.
Karine Conway.
Congratulations. Well done.
Lindsay Davis.
Congratulations. Well done.
Nicole Forster.
Congratulations. Well done.
Emma Folds.
Well done, Emma. Well done.
Jonquil Gullop. Sally Grader.
Well done, Sally. Congratulations.
Emily Grudgiak. Eve Melody. Van Nagoyan. William Sanders.
Well done, William. Congratulations. Well done.
Tara Smith Shelton.
Congratulations. Well done.
Emma Jane Vickers.
Well done, Emma.
Katie White.
Well done, Katie. Congratulations.
Charlotte Windridge.
Well done, Charlotte. Well done.
Lottie Worsey.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, Leonie James Allen.
Congratulations. Well done.
Ying Lee.
Congratulations. Well done.
Josie Parr.
Congratulations. Well done.
Rastine Riyahi Boni.
Nearly there. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art with a year abroad, Megan Hussey.
Well done, Megan. Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Italian and Spanish, Samantha Coates.
Well done, Samantha. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Language Studies with a year abroad, Marcus Atherton.
Congratulations, Marcus. Well done.
Holly Galpin. Sophie Osborne.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Languages with Film Studies, Naomi Orme.
Well done, Naomi. Congratulations.
Sasha White.
Well done, Sasha. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Languages with History of Art, Katie Rourke.
Well done, Katie. Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Languages with Management and English as a Foreign Language, Maria Georgiou.
Well done, Maria. Congratulations. Well done.
Marina Grigorova.
Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
Vasiliki Petkova.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Languages with Management and a year abroad, Arthur Blasey.
Well done, Arthur. Congratulations. Well done.
And Yellowbow Hay Pringle.
Congratulations. Well done.
Asha Burrows.
Well done. Congratulations.
Shireen Chiniya.
Congratulations. Well done.
Lara Clift.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Ruth Douglas.
Well done, Ruth. Congratulations. Well done.
Timothy Fairhall.
Well done, Timothy. Well done.
Kenny Granzotto.
Congratulations. Well done.
Emily Harrison.
Well done, Emily. Congratulations.
Amy Large.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Laura Mack.
Congratulations. Well done.
Stephanie Turner.
Well done, Stephanie. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Spanish and English, Benjamin Rushton.
Well done, Benjamin. Congratulations. Well done.
For the MBA Finance, Abubakar King Mohammed.
Congratulations, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law, Stella Cole.
Congratulations, well done.
Muhammad Paithan.
Well done, Alex. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law, Senior Status, Oluwatumi Sin Awoyemi.
Congratulations, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law with French Law and Language, Joy Odunewu.
Well done, Joy. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law with Politics, Seth Heward Mills.
Congratulations. Last but no means least, well done.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've been a lively audience, which always makes it more fun here on the stage. A few whoops and cheers, and feel free to do the same when I've finished speaking. I think we've had some super contributions as well. Our two honorary degree recipients, in very, very different ways, gave us a lot of food for thought and entertainment as well, I think. I've known David Monteith for quite some time, who, as you've heard, was very actively involved in everything connected with Richard III. What came through, I thought, from his presentation was his values, his commitment, and I just loved a phrase that he used, which I noted down. You'll find that people in my profession of politics always try and pinch the best lines that other people give you. The stock exchange is never going to capture our hearts, even if it lines our pockets. I like that line. I shall claim that as my own, as long as it's not being recorded and others are seeing it. But David and Lars, you as well. I mean, I just wanted to say amen when you said that your advice, it's always presumptuous to try and give advice to people because, everyone makes their own way in a sense. But you said to them, if possible, do what you love doing. You follow whatever you have enjoyed doing. The chances are you'll be good at it because you like it, and if you like it, you'll go on being good at it. I mean, that's really pretty good advice. Not everyone has that opportunity, but you, by your degrees here, have given you the best possible start. And our two on-grads had this in common. They both have a tremendous capacity, quite a rare capacity, for communicating their enthusiasm, their knowledge, their expertise to a very wide audience. And I think that's something much to be admired. So shall we just say thank you to them both for being such... And I hope this doesn't sound too reflective, but I always like to think on a happy occasion like this, when we're all celebrating in one way or another, to think that one of the things that you've achieved in acquiring the qualification that you have today is proving that you can overcome some pretty substantial difficulties. I took my degree here many years ago and sat where you're sitting, and reflect back on when you started the degree, because to me it's vivid even now. I think getting off at the station at Leicester, getting the bus up to Oadby. I mean, I can remember the lot really. And when you're starting your degree, you're full of, or most people are. There may be lucky ones among you that are not, but most people are full of a certain amount of doubt and uncertainty. It's a strange city, possibly. You're with people you've not met before. You have sometimes doubts about your own abilities. Other people look much more confident, but you've You've been through all that and come through the other side, and what you have now is something that you can hang on to for the rest of your life, which no one can take away, and which is proof not just of your academic skill in the area, but your capacity to deal with doubts and uncertainties and senses of inadequacy, and there's the badge to prove that you can do it. And I think that's a pretty useful thing as you go on, whichever career path is that you decide to take. And so be proud of your degree, be proud of what you've achieved, but be proud as well, I hope, of both the university here and the city that you've taken your degree in, because it's really been in the news. You've heard one or two for the last couple of years, hasn't it? It will be difficult for any future bunch of graduates to live through the fame that Leicester's been living through for the last couple of years. Last year it was the streets were being lined celebrating the discovery of the king in the car park, which we've heard about, and I'll do a bit of self-promotion here. At the January degree ceremony, I did say that the only thing that could get the people out on the streets in the way that they got out for Richard III would be if Leicester City won the Premier League, and my word, it happened. So I only remind people when I get prophecies right. But it's difficult to imagine how you could connect the two, but I think I've just managed it. What could we do as a kind of an encore from the King in the Car Park and Leicester City? The only thing I can think of is if we got our genetics department, if they were able to establish that Jamie Vardy was a descendant of Richard III. I think that... Now, a word or two. A university is obviously only as good as the staff and the students in it. This university has been around for a good few years now, and has achieved many things. When I was here, there were only 2,000 students. There are now more teachers than that. There's more than 20,000 students. But I hope you'll feel, I certainly did, and I think students today still do, that it still managed to retain a sense of friendliness and even intimacy, and that you will make a lot of friends, know a lot of people, and not absolutely overwhelmed, which you can be in some huge city universities with lots of different campuses all over the place, and you don't get quite the same sense of intimacy, I would say. And also it's wonderfully collegiate, it's wonderfully inclusive. People from more than 150 countries come and study here, and socially within the United Kingdom, people from the widest range of backgrounds come here, and the place is enriched as a result. And I hope you feel that, because it's part of my pride in being Chancellor that I'm able to say that. We reach the parts that not every other university is able to reach, and that's something to be proud of as well. So be proud of your university, and in the knowledge that is that all that you've done here is adding to the reputation of the university, and will continue to do so in the future. And I must say as well, as others have mentioned it, but I make no apology for re-emphasising it, that the people here in the gallery and at the back here, your family and friends, they will have been with you through the difficult bits that I've reminded you of, and they are celebrating here with you today, and that's enriched today's experience as well. And I'm sure you're delighted to have them here, as they will be thrilled to see the things you've done, which they would never have imagined that you might have, and they haven't done themselves. You're constantly amazed by your offspring, I have to say that, and I'm sure they feel the same way that I do. And the final thing I think I want to say to you is the best bit of a send-off I can give anyway, which is to wish you all a good luck, because you can have all the ability in the world and all the hard work in the world and all the dedication, but if you don't get a bit of luck, you'll be struggling. And if it's true in the football field, it's true in politics, which has been my life, where a few votes one way or the other can make all the difference, but it's true in life, isn't it? You know, you need that bit of luck and let's hope that that, combined with the qualification that you've got and can be proud of, will stand you in the best possible stead. And I'll conclude with a true story about my life here, which I only dare say at the end of the ceremony, when you've all got your degrees safely, metaphorically speaking, safely in your pocket. And it's this: I came here more than 50 years ago, and I have made 3 friends then, in particular, apart from my wife, who's also a friend, but 3 friends who I've kept touch with over the years. That's pretty good, isn't it? 4 of us over 50 years who we meet from time to time. And of the 4 of us, remember this, of the 4 of us, far and away the most successful, certainly financially, who's done spectacularly well, is the one who failed his degree. So just bear that in mind. Well done for getting a degree, but it's not a certainty for everything. So with that reflection in mind, I'll just close by saying, wishing you all to well done for what you've done. Thank you for what you've contributed to this university, and in the future, good luck. Right, so I started the formal proceedings, so I'll conclude them now, and it's my responsibility to formally declare this degree congregation closed.